Horsey Fieldhouse this afternoon as Army and Navy renew one of the great rivalries in collegiate sports. Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Proctor along with Kevin Greavy. You know, two of the top three scorers in the nation are from the Service Academy. Army's Kevin Houston leads the nation in scoring, averaging over 31 points a game. David Robinson is third in the country in scoring, and they wind up as the Collegiate Player of the Year. And what do we expect from the big man from Navy today?
Well, David Robinson is unbelievable. The guy can do everything. He leads the nation, or third in the nation in scoring, rebounding, block shots. He runs the court. He's probably the best player in college basketball. So he's an extra incentive here, and it's going to be a great game for him. He's never lost against Army. He's played him 3 times and has won. On the other hand, Kevin Houston, he's not the player, so you know, he doesn't look like a great player, but he just goes out there and quietly scores 30 points and beats you. He's a gifted player in that he's fun to watch. He's going to go out and give it his best. He's never beaten Navy.
Navy has won the last 7 games in this series, including 2 wins last year, a 30-point blowout in the Suntory Ball tournament in Japan, and an overtime win in West Point. But really, records don't mean too much when these teams get together.
No, you can throw the records out with this rivalry. Kentucky, Indiana rivalry, Oklahoma, Nebraska's got nothing compared to the Army-Navy. You can feel the excitement in the arena. The players' seasons really depend on the success of this game. So they're going to have to live with this the rest of their lives. What more can you ask for college basketball and these 2 Armed Forces teams going at it? It's going to be real exciting, and both teams are going to be led by great players.
Army is really not a very big team physically. How will they contend with David Robinson?
Well, Army's tallest player is 6'8". And so David Robinson at 7'1" is going to tower over those players, but they're going to have to play a zone. They're going to pack it in on him. And he's had a hard time getting off in these games because it has been so physical. But David Robinson's presence in there is just going to be too much for Army's bigger frontline people.
All right, Kevin, let's go down to the public address announcer, Kerry O'Shannock, for the pregame presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Horsey Fieldhouse for this afternoon's sold-out Army-Navy game. This is the 65th meeting between these service academies, with Navy leading the series 33-31. Already a special game.
Rivalry I've seen in collegiate sports, in all sports, not just football and basketball. The Army-Navy rivalry in every sport is tremendously intense competition. And the last 6 years, it's been a very, very close game. Every time we've played Army, whether it be at Navy or at Army, it's come down to last shots and last possessions. We think the rivalry can be nothing but positive for all the viewers that are going to see it on home team sports.
The All-American David Robinson shaking hands with Army star Kevin Houston. Houston, who leads the nation in scoring and in free throw percentage. Robinson is third in the country in scoring, 4th in rebounding, and 1st in block shots. The officials, Len Wirtz, Jim Birch, and Wayne Sanders. We look at the matchups. Of course, Army will have difficulty contending with Robinson. The cadets don't have much size. A front line of 6'7", 6'6", 6'3". So it'll be interesting to see how they go about trying to contain David Robinson. Navy's won the last 7 games. Army's last win was in 1980, and Army controls the tip. This is Kevin Houston, averaging 31 points a game. 15 is Darren Blackwell. 20 is Ron Steptoe. None of the Army starters are double figures, aside from Houston.
Navy starts out into a zone defense with a little bit of trapping in the corners.
Mike Yeager has his shot smothered by Robinson, who's averaging nearly 5 blocks a game. Doug Wojcik, number 10, closing in another 200-assist season. Cliff Reese misses a 3-pointer. Carl Liebert with a rebound. He's David Robinson's roommate.
Reese missed the last game because of a knee injury. His first start that he's missed since he's been here, but he's back in the lineup, and I'm sure he's healthy.
Wojcik with a 3-pointer. Rebound Robinson. Navy takes the lead on David Robinson's slam dunk. He's averaging 28.7 points a game.
Army's going to have to deal with that the whole game. They're going to have to make sure that they put a lot of pressure, a lot of body on him, because he's such a great offensive rebounder.
2-0 Navy. And it's out of bounds to Army. Army 12-12 on the season. Navy is 21-5, and since losing to Kentucky, they've won 8 straight games. They're especially tough here at Halsey Fieldhouse. They're 10-1 here this year. They only lost to Richmond, and they won 46 of the last 49 games. Kevin Houston on the miss. Rebound to Robinson. He's averaging 12 rebounds a game. Wojcik runs it up. Derek Turner. The rebound taken down by Scott King of Army.
I'm anxious to see how Army is going to get Kevin Houston open for his shots. You know that Navy is going to key on him. He's the only player averaging in double figures. So if they can stop Kevin Houston, so goes the success for Navy.
Pete Herman, Navy's coach, is saying that Houston is much tougher against the man-to-man defense. Blackwell on the miss. Liebert clears it out to Wojcik. Wojcik feeds Turner, and he's fouled. Foul is on Mike Yeager, number 41 of Army.
It didn't take long to see bodies fly, and here he takes the ball to the basket. Wojcik makes a good pass. Contact, it was underneath. It's going to be physical, and that's the way the game is going to be played for 40 minutes.
And Derek Turner will go to the free throw line. Turner, a sophomore from Burke, Virginia.
Very important for Derek Turner to keep maturing as a player, because David Robinson in here forever. He's graduating, and Derek Turner will be the player of the future for Navy.
Rebound to Ron Steptoe of Army. It's 3-0 in favor of Navy. Army last won in 1980 when they won 53-48. The series dates back to 1920. Navy won the very first game ever played, 24-18. It's not even a halftime score these days. Wojcik pushed Scott King. Emotions are running high in this game.
To an elbow already. It didn't take him long to get one in.
And Houston is fouled. Wojcik got him on the wrist as he went up for the shot. This is one man you don't want to send at the free throw line.
Houston's a very good one-on-one man-to-man player. And what he does very well is just that right there. Take the ball to the basket and then go up for a shot. You might think he's going to take it all the way.
He's the best free throw shooter in the country, shooting almost 93% from the line. He's hit 213 of 230 attempts, but shooting into a very difficult background.
He's awful cool.
Army is the best free throw shooting team in the country. As a team, they're making 78%. Beautiful form on this free throw.
He really does have great form. He's just picture-perfect form on his free throws and his shots. He's a player that young players out there ought to watch. Not gifted in speed or quickness, but he's able to score 30 points a game.
Wojcik with a three-pointer, but it won't count. He'll got a foul. It's on Scott King of Army. That's his first foul.
Scott King is in there just muscling and pushing a laying body on Robinson. They're going to have to give up a lot of fouls. I hope Army is deep inside.
Liebert on the miss and another foul. This one is against Derek Turner of Navy. We saw Kevin Richmond upset Navy here earlier this year, and that's one thing the Spiders did is put 2 men on David Robinson, really muscle him. And meanwhile, Doug Wojcik's getting into it with Ron Steptoe of Army. There's no love lost, quite obviously.
No, there's a lot of respect between these two ball clubs, but you throw that all out the window. The records, respect for one another. You play for keeps here. Seasons are on the line right here. One game.
3 minutes into the first half, Navy leading 3-2. Houston, very quick. The hand in his face, he knocks it down. Tough shot. He's got a quick release, doesn't he?
And that was over Liebert, who's about 5 inches taller than he is. He throws the ball behind his head on his jump shot, and he's so hard to block.
And another foul called on Army. And look, and Les Whitkey, the Army coach, is really upset. This foul is on Scott King, and it's his second. And it's obvious the officials are going to tighten up on things early to keep this thing from getting out of control.
That was a beautiful crossover move we see here, where he took the ball with the left to right and went up for such a beautiful jump shot.
Three-pointer by Cliff Reed. Reeves and Wojcik are both excellent three-point shooters, and Navy regains the lead 6-4.
But Reese has evolved into their best threat, the three-point line. Wojcik doesn't shoot the ball that much. Reese will take that three-pointer to take some of the pressure off of David Robinson inside.
They like to run Kevin Houston off screens. Very quick, just needs a pick to get off a shot. Boy, he's on fire. He scored all 6 Army points, and we're tied at 6.
He's something to watch. He doesn't care who's in his way. You know, at his size, you would think he might flinch a little bit when a bigger man goes up against him, but he'll still nail that jumper.
Liebert left open. Turner crashes the board. Scores. And Navy leads 8-6. Navy in a 2-2-1 zone press. Aaron Blackwell brings it across. Steptoe. Navy in a zone. Scott King, he doesn't score much. He's averaging 0.9 points a game. Shot clock down to 15 seconds. Navy leading 8-6. Houston looking for a screen, doesn't get it, but gets the foul. Doug Wojcik charged with his second foul. The Cadets of Army in attendance. Sellout crowd. Capacity was 5,000, but Lord knows how many people are in here. We might have 7,000 or 8,000.
They made an announcement on the PA system for everyone to move in together. There's got to be 500 people standing, just standing in here.
Kevin Houston has scored all 7 Army points. And he's perfect at the free throw line, 4 for 4. We're tied 8 apiece. Blackwell pressuring Doug Wojcik, one of the 4 seniors closing out their careers here at Navy. Robinson on the turnaround, an air ball. He hurried that shot. It's out of bounds to Army. We've got a foul called on Navy.
But it's quite easy to see what Army's going to do. They're just going to pack it in, 3-4 bodies on top of David Robinson. Once he gets his arms up over the defense, he's awful tough to stop.
Foul was called on Derek Turner, Kevin.
The kind of defense is going to really affect David Robinson underneath. He's going to have to just remain composed and go up for his nice shot.
14:38 remaining in the first half. Score tied 8 apiece. Kevin Houston has scored all 8 for Army. And Houston says, bring the ball my way.
Well, when you're a scorer like that, you don't get the ball enough. He could shoot the ball 40 times. Instead, he could have got 45 off.
Shot clock again winding down. The Cadets down to 7 seconds as Steptoe puts it up. Rebound Carl Liebert out of Floyd Knobs, Indiana. Head to Wojcik. Beautiful three, a little too hard. He had the right idea. Turner was there, but the pass was thrown a little too crisply.
They just miscommunicated there. It was a good thought by Wojcik. Turner wasn't able to handle that hard pass.
Both teams appear a little tight. That's only natural in a great rivalry like this.
Oh, it takes a couple minutes for that adrenaline to run through you. I know in big games like when Kentucky would play Tennessee or when the Bullets were in the championship series, it was hard to hold the ball. Your hands are sweating. You're really keyed up.
Ron Steptoe becomes the first Army player other than Kevin Houston to score. The Cadets lead 10-8. Reese for 3. Rebound Steptoe. Houston off a screen. It's nothing trying to set picks for him, even though they're playing against his own defense.
Well, even though they're in his zone, you know the Navy players are going to get up and try to guard Houston closely. So that's one time in your zone offense that you can pick. Of course, they'll try to do anything they can to free Houston. He's such a fabulous shooter.
What a release on that shot. I can't get over how quickly he gets rid of that ball, and he's got 10 points already.
Only player I can remember that shot that quickly and put the ball behind his head was Charlie Johnson with the Bullets.
Doug Wojcik misses a three-pointer. Liebert is up with it, and he's fouled on a reach-in by Mike Yeager of Army. That's his second foul. A lot of fouls called in the early going. Navy has 14 fouls. Army has 3. Let's make that 14 fouls now against Army as Carl Liebert goes to the free throw line. Liebert, David Robinson, Kerry Manhertz, all closing out their careers here at Navy, along with Doug Wojcik, the 4 seniors, and the senior manager, Dan Bates, who's the son of Sports Information Director Tom Bates. Get our first substitution of the game. Steve Rothert, number 42, a 6'6" freshman, checks in for Army, replacing Scott King, who has 2 fouls. Liebert shoots blanks. We may have a lane violation. We do. One of the Army players was in too early.
Violation, Army. Carl Liebert was shooting another foul shot.
Well, you're so preoccupied with trying to check out David Robinson that he jumped in a little bit too quick. Steptoe did.
And with the new life, Liebert sinks the second free throw. We've got a timeout with 12:43 remaining in the first half from Annapolis with a score. Army 12 and Navy 9. Mel Proctor with Kevin Greavy back in the Naval Academy, where Army leads Navy 12-9. Kevin Houston has scored 10 of the 12 points. We look at Army head coach Les Whitkey, a great tradition of coaches at Army, Bobby Knight and Mike Krzyzewski, both coached at Army. Knight, of course, now in Indiana, where he's enjoyed great success, and Krzyzewski at Duke.
I'm sure Bobby Knight, those great coaches from Army, never would have thought the nation's leading scorer could come from that team. Army was always known for being such a patient, relaxed, ball control team. Here you got your leading scorer in the country playing for him.
Navy 3 for 11 from the floor so far. Notice how Army really keeps the floor spread in their zone offense.
That's a good point. They try to keep it spread so that they can have some paths and some picks to be able to free Kevin Houston. If it gets too congested in there, it's very hard to get the ball to your scorer.
Looks like Navy's in a man-to-man this time. Houston loses Wojcik on a pick. He doesn't need much to get off a shot. Wow, what a first half he's having. The ball with the 14 points. He's hit his last 4 shots, and Army leads 14-9. Reese on the miss. Blackwell with a rebound. Both Darren Blackwell and Mike Yeager of Army played high school ball together in Galesburg, Illinois. Houston again, got it. He is on fire. He's hit 5
Kid
straight
is unbelievable.
shots.
Boy, is he fun to watch. He can use those picks. He's always got his defensive man guessing and leaning. He's so smart. He can go up, like you said, so quickly with his shot.
He scored 14 of the 16 Army points. His career high is 44. That came earlier this year against Manhattanville. Army's on a 10-1 run right now. As a foul is called on Steve Rothert of Army.
Foul called on Army, number 42.
That's his first and the 15th foul.
His first personal foul that he hit.
16-9 Army. The Middies are cranking up the three-pointers as Reese connects on his second three-pointer of the game. Reese has made 37% of his three-pointers on the season. Wojcik is even better at 43%. Rothert trying to get off the shot. It's impossible against David Robinson. Houston with a quick release again. Unbelievable first half by Kevin Houston. He's hit 6 straight shots. He scored 16 of the 18 Army points.
Well, he's just single-handedly taking Army wherever they want to go.
Reese hits his third three-pointer of the first half. So they get, Houston gets 2 and Navy gets 3 in the last 2 possessions. And it's 18-15 Army. Doug Wojcik is trying to stay with Kevin Houston. For some reason, Navy has gone to a man-to-man defense.
Well, Pete Herman said he's going to switch it up. Is it man-to-man and zone? Try to keep him unbalanced. However, it hasn't been working this first part of the first half.
Houston's got it going. Again he hits. Incredible. And he'll go to the foul line. He has 18 points.
Well, as soon as he gets the ball, he shapes up, gets in a position where he can drive or shoot. Here he's been driving. As soon as he gets his defensive man leaning, he explodes for the jump shot.
Foul is on Doug Wojcik. That's his second. Navy can ill afford to have Wojcik in foul trouble. He's the playmaker. He runs the show offensively. Houston, a rare miss. A 93% free throw shooter. He made his first 4. Derek Turner scores for Navy. And it's 20-17 Army. 9:59 remaining in the first half. It's been the Kevin Houston show so far. David Robinson scored only 2 points for Navy. Houston is a great three-point shooter, although he hasn't attempted one yet. Rothard with a baseline jumper. Rebound Robinson. Wojcik pushing it up the floor. Navy wants to run. Reese into Liebert. It counts and a foul.
Carl Liebert was anxious to get down the floor and get his hands on the ball. He was wide open. Finally, Wojcik found it to him. Was able to go up and get the nice three-point shot.
Foul is on Steve Rothard of Army, and a three-point opportunity for Carl Liebert with a chance to tie the score. We're tied at 20. An outstanding first half so far. Here comes Houston. He's open, momentarily slips inside of Turner. Rothard on the follow, blocked by Robinson. He's having no success inside.
David Robinson is having a good defensive game, although he hasn't been able to get the ball too much on offense. The one thing about Army is there's not a lot David Robinson can do about Kevin Houston's scoring ability.
Rothard is left open for the 15-footer, and he buries it, averaging 7 points a game off the Army bench. He gives the Cadets a 22-20 lead. Wojcik with a three-pointer. Navy's really cranking up the three-pointers. A little surprising to me that they're not trying to establish their inside game with Robinson.
Exactly. Get the ball to David Robinson. Let him at least establish some kind of inside game. Go inside first, then take your perimeter shots. But Navy's content to take some of those three-pointers early.
8.5 remaining in the first half. Navy's in a zone this time down the floor. Houston off glass. What a touch. He's got 20 points already.
Well, Navy's not doing a good job. As soon as he beats Wojcik, the next defensive man has got to step up and jump into Kevin Houston. They're not doing that very well here early.
Liebert on the miss. Blackwell with a rebound. Ahead to Houston. The one-on-one situation against Wojcik. What moves? Incredible performance. 22 points for Kevin Houston. He's hit 9 of 11 shots. This is one of the better performances I've ever seen.
It really is. It's phenomenal the way he's able to just come down the court, take a couple dribbles and fire.
Meanwhile, Navy with another three-pointer as Wojcik connects for the first time. And it's 26-23 Army. 7:36 remaining in the first half. Houston has had 4 games of 40 or more points this year and 14 of 30 or more. Houston with a three-pointer. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. He has 25 points.
He's unconscious, and the scary thing about it is that every game but 2 this year, he scored more points in the second half. So we could see some kind of record here.
Houston with a steal. He'll take it himself, and it's blocked by Carl Liebert. Substitution, Byron Hopkins checks in for Navy. Replacing Derek Turner.
Navy's got to get more of that help that Liebert just blocked the shot.
And Army will take a timeout.
Here Houston comes in. There's the help by Liebert. Wojcik can't do anything about it, but the other players on Navy have got to come in and help and step up to try to block the shot.
You can see a lot of emotion, a lot of pomp and circumstance involved in this great rivalry. Of course, the Army-Navy football game has a rich tradition of its own, but with the success of David Robinson, the Navy basketball program in recent years, and with Kevin Houston getting a lot of attention in Army, this game is particularly special.
It sure is. I got here at 11 o'clock this morning, and I couldn't get a parking place out in front of the arena. It was just, I knew I was in for something special. You come into this arena and you feel the electricity. These teams are really playing for keeps.
Kevin Houston has put on quite a show with 25 of the 29 Army points. Mentioned his season high is 46. That's also a career high against Manhattanville. Any place you can find a spot, sit on the floor or stand or crowd into a corner. No empty spaces at Halsey Fieldhouse this afternoon. Navy would like to see David Robinson get involved in the offense a little more. He has only 2 points.
Well, Navy's got to be a little bit shell-shocked from this opening performance of Kevin Houston. I know they know how great he is, but when it's happening to you, it does kind of lull you. It's just like, how can this be happening? They got to regroup. They got to make sure that they get good support and help, so that not just 1 or 2 players can guard Houston, but more than 3.
Liebert picks off the pass, and here comes Navy down by 6. They've already attempted 9 3-pointers, but they're going to Robinson. I think you'll see more of that.
They got to see more of that. Wojcik did a nice job of getting the ball to David Robinson quickly. Beat the defense down the floor. They got to get Robinson involved.
Kevin Houston over Robinson. Boy, David came flying through the air. Rothard on the follow. And a foul. Robinson was standing underneath the basket. When Houston started to go up for that shot, he came flying through the air like Superman and almost blocked it. Foul is called on Byron Hopkins. Rothard's played well off the bench. He has 5 points. And Army leads 32-25. Robinson in a crowd. Beginning to assert himself inside with 6 points.
Well, Army is very patient and knows their limitations. The other players know their limitations. They know they have to get the ball to Houston. I think Navy's got to start concentrating on getting that ball to David Robinson. Realize that if they don't get David in the game and he gets his 30 points, they aren't going to win.
Houston is an excellent 3-point shooter. He put up almost 100 3-pointers on the year and has made 50% of them. Navy in a zone. Rothard unchallenged by David Robinson. And he gives Army a 7-point lead, 34-27. 5.5 remaining in the first half. Another 3-pointer by Doug Wojcik.
That was an ill-advised 3-point attempt, no question about it. Pete Herman was very upset with that shot selection.
Army really moves the ball quickly against his own defense. We saw them working on kind of an interesting drill in pregame warm-ups, so making a lot of touch passes, keeping that ball moving.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how quickly these guys do move and pass the ball.
Kevin Houston with 25 points in the first half. Shot clock down to 11 seconds. And Army turns it over. .443 remaining in the half. 7-point lead for Army. Each team has committed only 2 turnovers. Beautiful steal by Mike Yeager, but he stepped out of bounds.
Good anticipation by Yeager as he just about every time down the floor Navy enters the ball on the left side of the court. He knew that and went after it.
Robinson with 3 men around him. David has 8 points. He cuts the Army lead to 5. What sort of adjustments has Navy made on Kevin Houston? He doesn't seem to be getting as many shooting opportunities.
I don't think it's the adjustments. Basically, it's the fact that Army has taken the ball away to his side, to the opposite side of the court. You're going to have to attack it to him. With about 14 seconds left, they usually get him the ball in his hands.
Rothert throws it back out to Blackwell for a 3-pointer. Byron Hopkins saves it. Navy with a chance to cut the Army lead down a bit. Another 3-pointer by Reese. Lieber throws it back out to Wojcik. Might Navy's thinking be, Kevin, of taking so many 3-pointers is to make Army respect the 3-pointers, to draw them away from David Robinson?
Well, that's definitely the thinking, and that's what Coach Herman has started out with, at least in his game plan early, is to go ahead. You got the shot, take the 3-pointer, bring that defense back off of David's left.
Houston for 3. And Rothert climbs the back of Carl Liebert. It's the 3rd foul on Steve Rothert.
Kevin Houston, one of his few misses here early in the first half, causes a collision underneath the basket. Liebert's doing a good job of checking off and making his presence known. Liebert's a good role player who gets some rebounds and is a decent shooter.
Liebert with 4 points, 6 rebounds. Not the most physically gifted player in the world, but he really works hard. Dives for loose ball, bangs. Substitution, Todd Matson, number 32, a 6'10 freshman from Antioch, California, is into the game now for Army. Blackwell with the save, 3:13 left in the half. Army leads by 5.
Navy's back in their zone again, but they're going to shade Kevin Houston, try to deny him the ball. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can score from anywhere.
Neil Fenton, number 4, is in the game at guard now for Navy. Shot clock again winding down on Army, down to 10 seconds.
Now they got to get the ball to Houston's hands. The shot clock winds down. They got to get to their score.
Steptoe over Robinson. David Robinson had great agility for a big man. Wojcik. Fenton thought about taking the 3-pointer. Robinson and Todd Matson were exchanging elbows, and Matson is tagged with a foul.
They start to mix it up here. David Robinson makes his cut to the basket. He gives a little shove. But Army's not going to back down, and it is getting physical. And it'll stay like this till the game's over. I'm sure bodies will be flying left and right.
David Robinson has taken only 5 shots in this first half. Craig Prather, number 22, is into the game for Navy. Free throw shooting is not one of David Robinson's strengths. He's shooting only 66%. And this is the front end of a 1-and-1. 2:18 remaining in the first half. Mel Proctor with Kevin Greavy bringing you today's game from the Naval Academy.
It appears that Army is very content now with this lead. They're going to use the shot clock. They'll make their perimeter passes, let everybody touch it. Then with about 8 or 10 seconds left in that shot clock, they've got to get the ball back to Houston.
The freshman Matson on the miss, and the ball's out of bounds to Army. Does it appear to you that Houston is not looking for his shots as much as he was early in the game?
No, he's not looking for it. I think that they've been instructed to go ahead and use that shot clock, and then with about 10 or 15 seconds left, go with it.
Derek Turner's back in for the Middies. 1:45 remaining in the first half. Army leads 34-29. Fenton pressuring Steptoe. Blackwell. Houston trying to get off a shot. Good defense by Neil Fenton. Houston knocks it down, and he's got 27 first-half points. He scored all but 9 points for Army. And it's 36-29, Army. They sag off Prather and give him the 15-footer. He doesn't even think about shooting. Three-pointer by Fenton.
They need that. Fenton has passed up that three-point attempt 3 or 4 times. There he took it. That'll bring his confidence up.
Navy has hit 5 of 13 three-point efforts in the first half. Three-pointers are keeping them close. 37 seconds left, 24 seconds on the shot clock. And Army wants to let the clock wind down. Ten seconds left of the shot clock. They're going to have to start looking for a shot quickly.
Got to bring the ball back around to Houston.
Three-pointer by Steptoe. He has 5 points, and Army's lead is 6. 38-32 with 10 seconds left. Wojcik into Robinson. Rebound Steptoe with 2 seconds left. And that will bring the first half to an end. A very good first half for Army, led by Kevin Houston's 27 points. The end of the first half, it's Army 38 and Navy 32.
We're here with Pete Herman here at halftime. Coach, you know, when you think of great rivalries, you think of Kentucky, Indiana, or Oklahoma, Nebraska, but none surpass the Army-Navy rivalry. And this afternoon, you've got to face Army. And yeah, I guess you have to throw all the records out. What do you expect from Army tonight?
Well, Kevin, they've been playing well lately. Kevin Houston is the leading scorer in the country. He's been very consistent. He scored a lot at the free throw line. He's taken a lot more shots than he has in the past, especially in the last 10 games. They've won 3 straight games. I know they're looking forward to a winning season if they feel they can beat us. And our guys are looking to become more and more consistent. We think they're going to slow the ball down. They want a low-scoring game. They don't want to get in an up-tempo type of situation with us, and that's what we'd like to get into. The last 2 years, the boards have been key, and we feel that the rebounding is going to be very important in this game also.
Well, you know, I've seen you guys play for four games, and so many teams get so obsessed with stopping David Robinson. And now you're faced with the same thing, where you're faced with stopping the leading scorer in Kevin Houston. What other tricks might you have defensively against them?
Well, he's a real smart player. He goes to the foul line a lot. He leans in a lot. He's a better scorer off the dribble than he is off the pass. So you've got to try to keep him quiet. In other words, you've got to try to keep him from penetrating, getting people in foul trouble, getting to the foul line. That's what he likes to do the most. We'll try to switch up on him, make sure we keep him covered to get him a little bit tired, and not try to play him right up tough so that we foul him.
Yeah, I understand it. He's such a great free throw shooter that you really can't foul him, and he leans in and gets his shot so well. Well, David Robinson, Coach, I've been so fortunate to be able to watch him play. You've been with him for 4 years. How good is he, and how much better can he really get?
Well, he's a very good athlete and a strong player, Kevin. He can definitely get better. He needs to get on the offensive board a little more. He's going to get stronger as he gets older. Man-to-man defense, he's a little weak at. We haven't played that much here, but he's going to get better at that. And when he realizes that he's the biggest and best player on the floor for 40 minutes, game in and game out, he's going to be a dynamite player.
Well, I'm sure he will, and he'll have the chance to play as a pro now that he got the ruling. Coach, we have to step ahead a little bit. When I think about your season this year, and you've had a great year, but last year you accomplished so many things, and going all the way to the Mid-East Regional Finals. What do you think this year is in store for you? I know with the great game here this afternoon, and you got Richmond yet, but looking ahead, what do you think about this this tournament that's coming up in the NCAA?
Well, you know yourself, Kevin, because you've been there before. You know, you've been in the NCAA tournament when you were at Kentucky. And it's hard to look forward to that when you've got a couple of major games in the Army game here and then Richmond on Tuesday. Then you've got to win 3 in a row in the CAA tournament to get an automatic bid. Now, we think our record has been indicative that we're a solid team. We should be in the NCAA tournament no matter what happens in the CAA tournament. As far as seeding, as far as anything else, we're not sure of where we're going to go or what's going to happen. We're just looking forward to the competition.
Well, I'm sure that you guys will be seated and favored to win the CA tournament, and I wish you the best of luck in that tournament. Coach, when you look at this game today, what does this rivalry really mean to the Naval Academy, to the players? I know you throw the records out. This is a battle, one that they'll all remember the rest of their lives. But what does it really mean to the Academy and to the Armed Forces itself?
That's a good question, Kev, because there is a little bit of a difference here. It's inherent when you come to the Academy, you hear beat Army all the time, and I'm sure at the Military Academy you hear beat Navy. And this is something that has grown in these players from the time they're freshmen at the academies. Now, we feel that we've accomplished a lot this season. We need to accomplish more. This is part of accomplishing more as we go down the stretch. For Army, I'm sure it's a major, major game because they can have a winning season. They have not beat us in 7 straight games, so it's more important even than that. And it's a real thrill and a real challenge to be involved in this game.
Well, Home Team Sports is glad to be here to pick this game up. Thank you very much, Coach. I wish you the best of luck in the game and the season, and hope you all do well in the tournament. Okay, back to you, Mel.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Speaking of Kevin, we've seen Kevin Houston in action in this first half. He scored 27 points already. That's the best first half he's had this year. He does not hold the Army single-game scoring record. That's held by Mark Binstein back in 1955 and 56. He scored 50, but Houston may be well on his way to that tonight. By the way, something to keep in mind, he's got 27 at the half, but on the season, he scored 63% of his points in the second half. So we've got something to look forward to. And we'll return to the Naval Academy with more halftime activity in just a moment. Back to Halsey Fieldhouse on the campus of the Naval Academy as Army leads Navy 38-32. Kevin Houston with 27 first half points. We look at the Navy defense.
The Navy playing a zone, rushes out of Kevin Houston, but he's so adept at just going up and shooting the ball. It doesn't matter who's on him. He shoots it up quickly, he's able to get it off. There's David Robinson doing a great job in defense. Kevin Houston does such a good job of shaping up on his man, either able to go either left or right, using the pick so well.
Houston hit 11 of 16 shots in the first half, including a three-pointer.
Wojcik has got 5 assists for the half. David Robinson
with a jam. He's got to get more shots, though. He took only 6 shots. Army shooting 53% from the floor. Interesting comparison as far as Navy is concerned. They attempted 13 three-pointers in the first half and only 14 two-pointers.
They got to get the ball to David Robinson in this half. They got to pound it down and play to their strengths and not play in the hands of Army.
Navy's ball as we begin the second half.
They're just giving that three-pointer up.
They go right to Robinson.
How easy is that? David Robinson just turns and dunks.
He has 10 points, so he's now scored a double figures in 93 of his last 94 games. Speaking of double figures, Kevin Houston has a string of 52 consecutive double-figure games. His season low this year is 18.
That's unbelievable.
The best second half he's had was a 31-point effort against Manhattanville, and he wound up with 46 in that game. Houston against Wojcik goes cross-court to Blackwell. Shot clock down to 8 seconds. Mike Yeager puts it up. Rebound to Carl Liebert of Navy. The Biddies would like to pick up the tempo of this game. Army wants to slow it down.
Navy's going to try to get the ball to Robinson. There's no question about it. They have to take the ball inside.
Derek Turner rebounding his own miss and putting it back in. He has 7 points. And Navy's cut the Army advantage to 2 points. Houston going baseline. 29 points for Kevin Houston. Great first step, so quick release, almost impossible to stop. Even though he's not very big, he's only 5'11". Turner in a crowd. That's a charging foul on Derek Turner. His 3rd foul.
Derek Turner turns into the defense. He does that a lot. He commits a lot of offensive fouls because he doesn't feel the defense first. He's got to know where that defensive player is before he makes his move and not guess. It's a move.
Army leads by 4. Kevin Houston has scored 29 of the 40 Army points, and he says, give me the ball. Do you blame him?
No. Looks like the table is leaning. The whole defense has shifted over to Kevin Houston's side. As soon as he gets it, he's going to let it fly.
Trying to swing it to the other side and then reverse it back to him, but Navy's not buying it.
No, they're not buying it at all.
Shot clock down to 7 seconds.
They better take it to the
Gonna
basket.
have to force one. Steptoe with a three-pointer. And guess who gets the rebound? Kevin Houston, those quick hands. Oh, he ran Wojcik into a crunching pick. Wojcik got flat. Liebert with a rebound. And a foul on Kevin Houston. That's his first foul.
Well, here Wojcik runs into the pick, and the defensive man or the man setting a pick has got to talk to Wojcik, and he really got hammered.
Houston with his steal, and he's pushed out of bounds. Foul is on Navy's Carl Liebert. That's his first foul. 17:20 remaining in the second half. Army leads 40-36. Mel Proctor with Kevin Grevey bringing you today's game from the Naval Academy. Wojcik overplaying Houston to his right. Wojcik's really shading him in that zone.
Well, yes, he's just trying to force him one way or the other.
There he is.
Houston could go either way. He doesn't care.
He hasn't taken many bad shots. One of the few that maybe he has rushed.
Now, for the leading scorer in the country, he doesn't seem to get too over anxious. He is very patient, but he knows once he makes his move, he can go up quickly and get it off just about anybody.
King sets a screen for him. King set that pick on Wojcik a moment ago. Robinson very active in that zone defense. Shot clock winding down again, down to 8 seconds. Houston gets the screen, and he got fouled by Doug Wojcik. That'll be the third foul on Wojcik.
You try to be aggressive on those picks.
But they called it on Liebert.
Here Liebert does a good job in helping out. But the one thing you don't want to do is foul this guy because he is the nation's leading free throw shooter.
And apparently the officials say he was not in the act of shooting, which is, then what was he doing?
I have no idea about that call. The guy was shooting. He should have had 2 free throws.
And Les Whitkey, the Army coach, would like an answer to that question. Army leads by 4. Army's biggest lead has been 7 points. Navy has led only at 3-0 early in the game. Beautiful pass by Houston to Mike Yeager.
I think he threw that pass between Robinson's legs. What a great pass. The guy can deliver, not only shoot the jumper, but he can see too.
Liebert looks for Robinson, surrounded inside. Looks like Scott King is following David Robinson wherever he's going.
Well, they're trying to sandwich Robinson and try to keep him in the ball. That's not what Navy wants to do.
Turner on the follow. Eric Turner has 9 points and Army leads 42-38. Navy back at his own defense.
Army, they're trying to bring that zone into a man-to-man. They're being very patient until the shot clock runs down, then they attack it.
Houston from long range. It rattles out on him, and David Robinson with the lead pass to Cliff Reese.
Not a good pass. Man was on the move. You can't force that play.
Here comes Houston. He'll take it. 31 points for Kevin Houston, and Army leads 44-38.
Navy should have one thing on their mind, and that's get the ball inside to David Robinson. If they have to use the whole 45-second shot clock, they got to do it. They got to get it into him.
And Army's really sagging back in the middle, almost daring Navy to take the outside shots, which they did in the first half. Reese on the miss. The Army slowing it down. They don't want to get into a running game with Navy. They want to control the tempo. Try to set up their half-court offense and spring Kevin Houston free.
Navy's been forced to play Army's game this afternoon.
14-15 remaining. Look out. Headed in our direction. And the ball is over to Navy. Knocked out of bounds by Ron Steptoe.
Good play by Wojcik, anticipating coming in here for the steal.
Greg Prather checks into the game for Navy, replacing Carl Liebert.
Prather's getting more playing time as he comes in for David Robinson.
And a substitution for Army as King leaves. Steve Rothert, who played well in the first half and scored 7 points, is in the game now. Army leads 44-38. Three-pointer by Doug Wojcik. Now they're missing the three-pointers, and Army's really packing that middle in the zone. Houston trapped in the corner. Army's played a very smart game.
They have. They got the lead. Now they play a patient game. It's that much harder for Navy to come back. They're going to use the shot clock. They're going to use their skills. That's getting the ball to Kevin Houston.
He gets a screen from Mike Yeager. Shot clock down to 10 seconds. Steptoe will take the shot.
Problem with
Robinson
that offense,
with the rebound.
they got to let Kevin Houston finish that 45-second clock offense.
And Reese draws the foul. Mike Yeager came down on Cliff Reese. That's the third foul on Yeager. We've got a timeout with 13 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in this basketball game. Army leads Navy 44-38. Academy, where Army's Kevin Houston has scored 31 points. What was your career high in the NBA?
My career high in the NBA was 43 points. Had that against Houston.
What about college in Kentucky?
40 had that against Georgia. I remember those games well.
What about high school?
I don't remember in high school. No, I think it was 40 points in high school. 44 points in high school. I got my jersey number in high school.
For those of us who are not fortunate enough to enjoy the feeling of scoring 40 or 50 points, what must it be like to have a game like Kevin Houston is having, or like some of them that you experienced?
Well, mine I remember well because it didn't happen that often. But Kevin Houston gets a game in and game out. It's just a normal routine performance for him.
He's got 31 points in this game. Army again packing that zone, giving Navy the outside shots. Derek Turner shakes free. He's the leading scorer for Navy with 11 points. David Robinson has only 10. And it's 44-40 Army.
Now they've gone into a different defense where they're going to deny, Navy's going to play zone and then deny Kevin Houston the ball. As soon as he gives it up, Reese is going to deny him the ball.
Almost like a boxing one.
I think that's what it looks like, a boxing one right now.
Reese is following him wherever he goes. The first time Navy's gone to this defense. Reese right there with him. Tough shot, but he was able to draw the foul. Heard Pete Herman talking about his ability to lean in and draw that contact.
And that's what he did just then. Reese actually did a pretty good job on defense where he played him pretty tough, but then he jumps in on the shot. And you usually give the offensive man the advantage when there's contact on the shot.
Houston made 4 out of 5 free throws in the first half. He's missed 2 free throws. He had missed only 13 all year coming into this game.
Well, last week he missed 3 against Yale where he was 7 for 10. Not shooting particularly well today.
Beg your pardon, he'd missed 17 on the season coming in, and he's missed 2 this afternoon. He has 32 points. And Army leads 45-40. Houston's father, Jerry, was a fine player for Joe Lapchick at St. John's in the 60s. Cliff Reese from long range. Houston with a save, but it's off one of the Army players. Nope, then the official will go the other way. It'll be Army's ball. As Steve Rothert is limping a bit. Navy's guards are really struggling. Wojcik is 1 for 6, all from 3-point range. Reese is 3 for 11, and he's 3 for 8 from three-point range. That's one reason that Army's got that zone packed in on Robinson, giving Navy the outside shot. Blackwell misses. Turner with a rebound. Derrick's played well.
He sure has. He's come in and really, he and Lieber both have played very well, along with David Robinson. Now they've got to find somebody that can either hit a 10-foot jump shot or deliver the ball to David Robinson. One of the two things.
Robinson with 3 men around him, still scoring. He's got 12 points, and he cuts the Army lead to 3, 45-42. David's only taken 8 shots. He's made 6 of them.
No, and this is one of them right here, where they finally get the ball to him, and he's able to turn and shoot the jumper.
Kevin Houston. Rebound Robinson. Craig Prather. And there's a foul. Foul is called on Mike Yeager. That's his 4th.
Prather, who's getting more playing time every game. Coach Herman's finding more confidence in him. Gets good position and spins for the shot. Not a particularly good field goal or free throw percentage shooter, but he hustles very hard and really is starting to get more minutes.
Prather, a 6'5" sophomore from the Bronx. His first point of the game. Mentioned that Army is the best free throw shooting team in the nation. They were 5 for 6 from the free throw line in the first half, but Navy made only 3 of 7. They're now 4 for 8 in the game. 45-43 Army. 10:55 remaining. And Army will call a timeout. So Les Whitkey will talk things over with his cadets, and they've seen their lead dwindle to 2 with 10:49 remaining in the game. Here in Annapolis, tip-off at 2:30 on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. Navy's David Robinson has scored just 12 points in this game, but he has moved past a couple of former collegiate stars in the all-time NCAA scoring list. He's passed Mike Oliver of Lamar and Ronnie Curry, the great guard from Holy Cross. And David now occupies the 23rd spot in the all-time NCAA scoring list. There's his updated total, 2,525 points. But points certainly don't tell the whole story about David Robinson. Army leads by 2. Kevin Houston has scored 32 points. Houston has played the entire game. He has not had a breather.
He's averaging 39 minutes a game for his career, so he doesn't come out of too many games.
Rothard puts it up. Rebound David Robinson. Army's getting very few second shots. Robinson has 8 rebounds and 12 points. Navy with a chance to tie it. If they should hit a 3-pointer, they can take the lead. Reese. Turner on the follow, and we're tied. 45 all, 9:50 remaining.
Well, the fans are in it now. Kevin Houston's been able to silence him with that lead, but now the game is tied.
Cliff Reese is guarding Houston. Maybe playing that what appears to be a box and one.
And it's been effective. It has kept the ball out of Houston's hands.
Houston over Reese. And a foul is called on Army's Steve Rothard. I didn't see it. The action was away from the ball, but that's the 4th foul on Rothard.
Well, Rothman's a pretty rugged kid. His 4th personal foul, as you see. But that wasn't a time to get the foul. Really was kind of away from the ball right there. Rothman, oh, he sealed the pick. He wouldn't let Reese come out. It was an offensive foul.
Navy with a chance to take the lead. We're tied 45 all. Prather with the entry pass to Robinson, who made the mistake of bringing the ball down where the little men could get it. Darren Blackwell fouls it.
Yes, Mel, he got away with one there. Once he receives the ball, he shouldn't put it on the floor. He's got to turn and take it to the basket. Here he's getting sandwiched. They're trying their best to get it to him, and he took that dribble. He shouldn't have done it, but he got away with it.
Craig Prather, left three. The basket counts, and it's a charging foul on Prather. And Navy has taken the lead, 47-45.
Now that was a bad call. Prather took the ball to the basket, made it. The defensive man went under him. Should have had a three-point try there.
Navy has scored 7 straight points to take the lead. And Navy has shut down Kevin Houston temporarily. He's having trouble getting off shots. 3 men on him.
There.
Somebody else is going to have to take some shots.
Yeah, but when they do, it hasn't worked. You got to get the ball to Houston.
One problem the teams have when they rely so much on a big scorer like Houston, when he can't get his shots, it's difficult for them to adjust to get the shots for somebody else.
Yeah, you're not used to shooting the ball. It doesn't work out for you.
Navy leads by 2. The quick entry by Wojcik to Robinson, and he's fouled by Mike Yeager. And Yeager's just fouled out. So Yeager fouls out. He leaves with only 2 points. He also had 2 rebounds. Army really has done a good job on David Robinson when you consider that Scott King is the tallest starter at 6'7". The front line is 6'7", 6'6", 6'3", and they're having to contend with a 7'1" center in Robinson, who's extremely agile and can jump with the best of them.
Well, that's right. They've really played above themselves, playing against David Robinson, the best player in the country. They've been able to really keep him intact. They've been doing it double and triple teaming David Robinson.
Todd Matson has replaced Yeager. 2-point lead for Navy. Reese into Robinson. Oh, look out. He gets into it with Todd Matson. And the officials get to them quickly. I don't think I want to mix it up with David Robinson. When he was a plebe here at Navy, he broke his hand in a boxing class.
This was totally unintentional. He got his hand, the defense man got his hand caught up there, and David just rolled him over. Obviously, it's getting very physical, but rolled him over. Obviously, it's getting very physical, but there was no intent of any harm to anybody there.
See David giving Matson his best Muhammad Ali stare.
He sure did, but David came back up shaking hands.
There are many people who think that David Robinson will be a better player in the NBA than he's been in college because he won't be subjected to all the double and triple teaming and the gimmick defenses.
Well, you'll be able to see more of his skills in the pros, certainly, as he'll be able to take the ball to the basket a lot more, and he'll be matched up individually, one-on-one. No zones in the pros, therefore he'll be able to show more of those skills.
Kevin Houston's hit just 2 of his last 6 shots. Robinson is taking over on the boards.
He has become David Robinson's half now. His shot blocking, rebounding skills are really coming to the surface.
Houston with a steal. Oh, what a play. Robinson trying to catch him. Houston disappears into the cheering section. He thought he got fouled. Foul was called, but not on Houston's drive.
This little guy is really tough. Here he finally gets the loose ball and takes it down. Behind the back. Now he challenges David Robinson from the right side to the left side of the basket. If he'd have made that, I'd tell you the place would have just fallen down.
Looked like he got fouled.
It did look like he got fouled.
Foul was called on Derek Turner of Navy. That's his 4th. 7:15 left. A 2-point lead for Navy, 47-45. Scott Whip, number 30, is in the game now for Army, a 6'6" junior.
Houston wants the ball quick.
He's having a tough time getting his shots. Army has not scored a field goal in the last 8 minutes. Houston will try to change that. And Turner has just fouled out. That'll hurt Navy because he's been playing very well. He's the leading scorer today for the Middies with 13 points. He's also rebounding well.
Yes, but Turner makes a bad mistake here. Houston's missed 5 of his last 7 attempts, and he fouled him. He failed to shoot her out. He should not foul him. If he had made 7 or 8 in a row, then a foul is okay. It's necessary. But he's a sophomore. He'll learn. That was a bad foul, but he's really coming into his own this year.
Derek Leaves with 13 points and 5 rebounds as the Army cadets wave goodbye to him. Kevin Houston has made 5 of 7 free throw attempts. He scored 32 points, 27 in the first half. And he now has a chance to tie the score at 47. 34 points for Houston. We're tied 47 all. And we've got a timeout with 6:48 remaining in the game. Army and Navy locked up at 47 apiece.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends of Army.
The race for the Atlantic 10 title heats up as the St. Joe's Hawks tip off with the Mountaineers of West Virginia tomorrow afternoon on Home Team Sports. Action gets underway at 4 o'clock. Navy coach Pete Herman, longtime assistant under Paul Evans before Evans left for the University of Pittsburgh, the Pitt Panthers.
Number 30 is
Navy has suffered some key graduation losses. Vernon Butler, a great forward, a banger, kind of a throwback, blue-collar worker, if you will, great rebounder and scorer, graduated. He was about 6'7", and was very effective on the front line with David Robinson. Kyler Whitaker, a good outside shooter, also graduated. Then Nathan Bailey, a fine sophomore, was suspended from the academy earlier this year.
Those have hurt Navy, and I don't think they're quite as good as they were last year. But only time will tell as they enter into the CAA tournament next week.
They're 12-1 in conference play and will be the top seed in that tournament getting underway in Norfolk. They go into Robinson, 3 men around him, back out to Reese. Robinson got flipped and a foul is called on Todd Matson. David went up with a rebound. Matson accidentally undercut him.
Well, every time David Robinson leaves his feet, someone's coming under him. Someone's laying lumber on him, putting a body, an arm, a hip. And it's very frustrating as a player to play under those conditions. But David Robinson is really responding well. He doesn't let it get to him. He goes about his business. You just hope a player like that gifted doesn't get hurt.
He's missed all 3 of his free throws this afternoon, and that was the front end of a 1-and-1. Both teams are over the limit. The Army really struggling in the second half. 20% shooting. 6 minutes left in the game. Last year, Navy won by 30 in the Suntory Bowl tournament in Japan and then won in overtime at West Point. This one might very well be headed for overtime.
It looks like another classic confrontation between the two ball clubs. They have a history of playing these games close down to the wire.
Houston just misses. Rebound to Prather. Navy trying to regain the lead as Wojcik moves the ball into the front court. 5.5 left in the game. Robinson's drawing a crowd inside. He's got 2 men with him.
Good pass.
Liebert from Robinson. And Blackwell is up with a loose ball for Harvey as they try to take the lead. Army has not scored a field goal in 9.5 minutes.
This defense has really been working for Navy.
Aaron Blackwell on the miss. Robinson blocks the shot, but a foul is called on David, and he can't believe it. He thought he blocked Todd Matson's shot cleanly.
Here's just a good rebound. Gets up and gets it, and David Robinson better shoot it quick because he's going to slap it away.
Looked like he got it cleanly.
It sure did look like it.
It's his first foul.
Well, getting back to the defense that Army has put on, or that Navy has put on Army, to box and one, denying the ball to Kevin Houston, and that's why they haven't been able to score.
Army takes the lead on Todd Matson's free throw, his first point of the game. Army is the best free throw shooting team in the country, and they've lived up to that. They're 9 for 11, but oddly enough, the best free throw shooter in the country, Kevin Houston, has missed those 2 free throws.
That's right.
Another lane violation. Second one we've had called this afternoon. Neil Fenton checks into the game at guard for Navy. He replaces Carl Liebert. So Navy has 3 guards on the floor now.
The Navy's got their smallest lineup that they play. They have Fenton, Wojcik, and Reed playing those guard positions.
Matson misses, given a new life. Army leads 48-47, 4:50 remaining. Todd Matson and Robinson are banging each other. Matson doing most of the banging, and he's tagged with another foul. That's his third. Get the impression he's beginning to get under David Robinson's skin. Literally.
Yes, I don't see how David Robinson does keep his composure, because everywhere he moves, he's got 2 or 3 bodies against him.
But it's really, you know, it's not that bad to foul him because he's not a good free throw shooter. He hasn't made one today. He's 0 for 3.
The Army is playing a strategy, and it's really the only strategy that can beat Navy. That's to pack it in and try to keep David Robinson from getting the ball. And go ahead and let the other players for Navy shoot those 3-pointers or shoot those perimeter shots.
Robinson misses the front end of a 1-and-1 again. But Army loses the ball out of bounds. Robinson's now 0 for 4 from the free throw line. Scott King, number 54, is back in the game for Army. Navy using a 3-guard offense with Reeves, Fenton, and Wojcik. And a foul is called this time on King. So they're sending Robinson to the line. Which, as I say, is not bad strategy because he hadn't made a free throw yet.
That's right. Again, David Robinson moving across the lane is getting pushed and pulled. But they've got a lot of fouls to give up, Army does. I'm sure before the game's over with, there could be 3 or 4 players in the front line foul out for Army. But that is good strategy.
Robinson's now missed 4 straight front ends of 1-and-1s. But Reese comes up with a steal, and Navy gets the ball back. See if they foul Robinson again. Reese. Look at Robinson go after it, and it's out of bounds to Army. He's an incredible athlete. He can run the floor with anyone in the college game. In fact, I think he runs the floor as well as any big man I've ever seen.
I think I have to agree with you. I thought Pat Ewing ran the floor well, but I put David Robinson in a foot race with just about anybody in basketball.
Army leads by 1. Not much offense in the second half.
Oh, he got fouled.
No whistle. 48-47 Army. 4 minutes remaining, and a technical foul is called on Army coach Les Whitney. He was complaining about the no call on Houston's shot. Let's see if we can get a shot of the Army bench for a moment. We want to show you someone. Many of you pro basketball fans will remember. We just pan down the bench a little further. Right there, the gentleman in the blue sport coat with a red tie. That's Walt Wesley, who spent 10 years in the NBA, played with the Washington Bullets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and several other teams. Great player at Kansas. In fact, he still holds the Cleveland single-game scoring record with 50 points.
That's right. I saw him play when I was in high school when he was playing for the Cincinnati Royals. I had a chance to say hello to Walt Wesley before the game.
Reese missing the front end of the 1-and-1, or actually the technical. 2-shot technical on the coach, Les Whitney, and Navy's having trouble at the free throw line. We're tied 48 apiece. 4 minutes left. A lot of people in that lane. Prather. Robinson on the stop. David really did the hard work before the shot was even taken. He was muscling his way for position just in case the shot should miss.
And that's usually the case with great rebounders. They do the work before the ball's even shot. Prather is not a particularly good shooter. Threw the ball up on the glass. David Robinson worked very hard for position.
Navy leads 50-48. Army has been stone cold the second half. They've not scored a field goal in 11 minutes.
It's because they haven't been able to get the ball to Houston. He is their offense, their whole team's offense. He scored 47% the team's points.
Navy went to a little different defense in the second half. They've had a man on Houston wherever he's gone. He forces one up. Robinson collecting almost every rebound now. He's got 13 boards. Navy will spread it out. They lead by 2 with 2:45 left.
Navy should use the clock.
Wojcik with a three-pointer. One of those. No. Great shot.
That's right. I don't know how many coaches had to say the same thing about me taking a bad shot, but really wasn't an advised three-pointer.
Houston gets 2 back for Army. He's got 36 points, but only 9 in the second half. And it's 53-50 Navy with 2:20 left. And Robinson is fouled again. Foul is on Scott King. That's his 4th. Remember, David Robinson at the free throw line has missed 4 consecutive occasions the front end of a 1-and-1. So Navy leads by 3, 53-50, with Robinson going to the free throw line. This is the final home appearance for these 4 Navy seniors, including David Robinson. What a career he's had. What a season he's had. 5 triple-doubles, 2 45-point games. Probably his best all-around game came against your alma mater, Kentucky, in a losing effort. He got 45 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 block shots. He's won 3 games at the buzzer this year.
You know, there's not much more he could accomplish this season, but maybe beat Army and get into the NCAA tournament. His statistics speak for themselves. What a career he's had, and he will certainly be right there with all the other legends in NCAA career scoring.
Well, you'll see more of David Robinson and Navy on Tuesday when the Middies travel to Richmond to meet the Spiders. Richmond upset Navy here in Annapolis earlier this year in a game we televised. That'll be at 7:30 Tuesday night here on Home Team Sports. And you'll see more of David Robinson in our coverage of the CAA tournament for Norfolk, Virginia, getting underway next weekend.
I don't think you can see enough of him. The guy is so good. Viewers can really be treated to see a great player.
He gets my vote for Collegiate Player of the Year, and I'm sure this young man will get some too. Kevin Houston, leading scorer in the country, with 36 this afternoon. But David Robinson, who has not made a free throw, goes to the line. He's missed 5 consecutive 1-and-1s, meaning the front end of the 1-and-1. So that's, you know, the possibility of 10 points right there.
Yep.
And we've got a foul called on Cliff Rees of Navy.
Here, Houston just slides and glides. Oh, looked like a good block. David Robinson just went up and pinned it.
Well, they called a foul on Rees. Now Kevin Houston is at the line. The deadly accurate free throw shooter can cut the Navy lead to 1. He's 14 for 28 from the floor, 7 for 9 at the line, and he has 37 points now. Closing in on a 40-point game. He's had 4 of them this year. He's got 38 points, and it's a 1-point ball game. 53-52 Navy. 1:59 left in regulation. David Robinson's got 2 men around him. He's running around trying to free himself and draws 4 men. Army with a chance to take the lead. Here comes Kevin Houston.
1 on 5.
Cliff Rees trying to stay with him. Tough shot. He was off balance. minute 25 left. Navy leads by 1. In the old days before the shot clock in college basketball, Navy could try to hold it here, but they're going to have to take a shot some point. Robinson using his strength. 55-52 Navy. David has 16 points. And Army will call a timeout. Well, Kevin, if you're Army, do you set up for a three-pointer? This may be your last possession with 58 seconds left.
Well, it's a good question. I don't think I would. I think that I would stay with what got us there, and that would be to go ahead and take those good high percentage shots. Here, David Robinson working so hard to get position and get the ball. Shows his strength as he was pinned, but yet was still able to get the ball back up.
David Robinson has 16 points to lead Navy. Kevin Houston has 38 for Army. And Navy leads 55-52 with 58 seconds left. I think what's impressed me about Robinson today, even though he hasn't been getting his normal number of shots, they've had difficulty getting him the ball, he's not making his free throws, he's remained composed. He hasn't gotten rattled, he hasn't gotten upset, and he's contributed in other ways with his shot blocking, with his rebounding.
That's right. He can beat you in so many ways. Subtle ways or very glaring ways. He can score points. He can get the rebounds, which are very obvious. But he also does such a good job working to free his other players up for shots. Just his presence on the court enables Reese and Wojcik and these guys to have uncontested 15-foot jumpers, but they haven't been able to hit those. And that's good news for Army. They've been able to stay in the game because Navy has been content to go ahead and take those three-pointers. I think the defensive job that Boxton wanted they put on Houston has been a big key for Navy to come back and take the lead.
58 seconds remaining in the game. Navy leads 55-52, and Army will have possession. Remember, Houston is a 50% shooter from three-point range. Army is 4 for 21 from the floor in this second half, shooting only 19%. Houston is 3 for 13 in the second half. Three-pointer. Little Neil Fenton grabs the rebound. Navy has the ball in a three-point lead. And Reese wisely throws it back out. They want to hold the ball. All they have to do is hold on.
Army's going to have to foul to get the ball in the possession. Navy can just run the clock out.
And if you're Army, why wouldn't you foul David Robinson?
Well, they didn't really have a chance to get the foul, did they?
Foul stops the clock with 25 seconds left. Doug Wojcik will go to the free throw line. He's a 74% shooter at the line for the first time tonight. Foul was on Darren Blackwell of Army. Fieldhouse erupts as Doug Wojcik puts the Middies up by 4 with 25 seconds remaining.
Well, these are two of the biggest free throw shots of Wojcik's career, I'm sure.
But he can make only 1 out of 2. Even a three-pointer won't help Army. They're 4 points down. Houston for 3. Rebound to Fenton has grabbed 2 key rebounds in the last 2 Army possessions. And Blackwell commits the foul. He was trying to get Fenton. I think he actually clobbered Robinson. I don't know who's going to go to the line. It'll be Robinson going to the free throw line. He is 0 for 5. Carl Liebert applauding to the sidelines. Navy's in good shape. This will be two-shot opportunity for Robinson.
Oh, the horn.
And he makes his first free throw of the game. And Pete Herman knows that Navy is in good shape with a 5-point lead and only 11 seconds left. Robinson has 17 points, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots. Les Whitkey saw Kevin Houston fire in 27 first half points, and then the Cadets went cold in the second half. got to give Navy some credit for the defense they put on Houston in the second half. Robinson hits 2 big ones to ice it. And we've got a timeout with 11 seconds left. I think Navy called this timeout. Well, let's see if maybe Pete Herman would take Robinson out here. Let him get a standing ovation.
Like we said, it's a senior night. There are 4 seniors playing their last game here. So it would be special if he would do something like that. I don't think we'll be able to talk for at least 60 seconds if he does. It'll be deafening in here. Navy smells victory, and with good reason. They're just 6 points up.
Our basketball coverage continues Monday night as we take you live to Tallahassee, Florida for a key Metro Conference matchup as the Florida Seminoles host the Hokies of Virginia Tech. It's the Florida State Seminoles. Don't want to offend anyone from the University of Florida. That's at 7:30 on Monday. 11 seconds left. Navy with a 6-point lead. 3-pointer. Rebound taken down by Kerry Manhertz, one of the 4 seniors who's closing out his career. He hasn't played much here at Navy. 2 seconds left. And a foul called on Army. And now I think Pete Herman's going to make the change, and they'll rock this building when David Robinson comes out.
He's going to take all his seniors out of the game.
Liebert's already on the sidelines. Wojcik and Robinson will be coming out. Wojcik, Robinson, and Reese all come out. And the seniors get a standing ovation from this largely Navy crowd here at Annapolis. Army led 44-38 with 14 and a half minutes to go, but from that point on, Navy outscored Army 20-8. Army had only 1 field goal. Kerry Manhertz at the line. And that will do it despite a fine performance, particularly in the first half by Army's Kevin Houston. Navy wins it, their 8th consecutive win against Army. Final score this afternoon from Annapolis, Navy 58, Army 52. We'll be right back.
2 years ago, Wichita State's Xavier McDaniel became the first player in NCAA history to lead the nation in scoring and rebounding, and he's now one of the top players in the NBA. But more often than not, they're more like last year's. How many of you remember Terrence Bailey of Wagner was tops at 29 points per game? And never is it a player from a service academy. This year it's almost certain to be, though, but not necessarily Navy's highly touted David Robinson. A half a point ahead of him is Army's Kevin Houston, affectionately referred to as Beaver by the cadets. You'll see why and learn more about the nation's top gunner in this report from CNN's Debbie Segura.
West Point was founded in 1802. Its tradition etched in stone, a living, working memorial. Graduates who have taken their place in history. You expect great leaders from this institution. You don't expect. You might not be impressed with Kevin Houston. It's a common reaction, one shared initially by his coach.
There was a little red-headed, freckle-faced kid out in a group of over 100, and he did not stand out. And then he did go to our prep school, and I saw him play there, and then it was very obvious he was going to be a great player.
Coach Woodkey didn't make the same mistake others did. Kevin was overlooked at a high school and was not offered a single scholarship, not even from St. John's, where his father starred during the mid-'60s.
But, I mean, we should have had him. He would have been a very good player for us. But, you know, and sometimes you blow, so he would have been a great addition. Plus, he's a great kid.
They're making out pretty good with what they have down there, and I'm making out okay with what I have here. But the decision I made, I'm very happy with.
As long as Houston's happy, Army's happy. He's averaging just over 31 points a game, scoring 46% of the team's total points. But before you think he's a ball hog, Kevin also leads the team in assists. He's dangerous from anywhere on the court. leads the nation in free throw percentage, and is deadly from outside. This was his game-winning three-pointer against Iona. We're more familiar with the nation's #2 scorer, another military man, Navy's David Robinson, considered the best all-round player in college, a possible #1 draft pick.
It's two different stories, really. You know, he's a 7'1" center, and I'm a 5'11" point guard, and you see more of his type in the NBA.
Robinson still faces the dilemma of mixing the NBA with his military obligation. Houston doesn't have that problem. While he leads the nation in scoring, it's not his automatic ticket to the pros. His size and team schedule are considered big strikes against him. It's a fact Kevin can accept for now.
I realized that my 5-year commitment was first, and the chances at a professional career after that were probably very limited. So it's nothing that I'm regretting or sour about in any way.
While Robinson and Houston don't share equal billing throughout the season, they will share the spotlight at least for one day.
More to come when we return here on ESPN. It used to mean playing in the shadows of the other major college basketball programs, but all that's changed in the last couple of years, with much of the credit going to David Robinson and Kevin Houston. The mention of Army and Navy usually conjures up thoughts of college football, but this year the two service academies are making their mark on the hardwood. At West Point, 5'11" Kevin Houston is the nation's leading scorer at 30 points a game. And in Annapolis, 7'1" David Robinson is generally considered to be college basketball's most dominating player. Both Robinson and Houston are closing out brilliant careers. Not only have they brought themselves a lot of recognition, their achievements have directed a lot of attention to the service academies in a sport other than football.
In my own case this year, and obviously in David Robinson's case as well, it's brought a lot of publicity to both of the schools, and I think that's been good for both basketball programs and the academies in general. It's been a very enjoyable experience playing 4 years at a military academy. I have no regrets about having been there. It's offered me the opportunity to do a lot of different things, both basketball related and not related to basketball, so it's been a lot of fun.
As a matter of fact, I think I got more because of the Navy and being in an unusual situation early. And I think that helped me a little bit. And it's gotten me a chance to play when I wasn't so good and then develop and get better. So, you know, this was a great situation for me.
Robinson has spent the last 2 seasons at the top of the college basketball world. It hasn't been quite the same for Kevin Houston. On Saturday, Houston scored 38 points against Navy and made the folks in Annapolis stand up and take notice.
He's so tough. He makes the tough shots. I mean, a lot of people take those tough shots. But the thing that makes him great and everybody else just good is that he makes them all. And then he goes to the line, and what do you do? You can't foul him, so what do you do? You just let him shoot. He has great body control, so he's always leaning in. And not enough to get the charge, but just enough to get that foul call.
There's little doubt that someday David Robinson will be in the NBA and will be one of the league's finest players. It probably won't be that way for Kevin Houston. Still, he doesn't rule out the possibility of giving the NBA a shot when his 5-year military commitment is up.
If the opportunity were there, I would at least give it a chance and see what could happen. It's something that I'm a little bit hopeful for, but I'm realizing that it's probably not going to be for me.
Currently, Houston is the leading scorer in the nation. He averages 31.8 points a game.
Story of basketball.
That's right, Frank. I certainly do. In Annapolis today, Army and Navy are meeting in basketball for the 65th time. Now, even if the game doesn't always have an impact on the national standings, it's always special. This year features 2 interesting players who show us why there is more to the game than just the score. They are at the same time so much alike, and yet so very different. Different from the crowd because college in the military means marching to the beat of a different drummer than most young men and women. Different from each other because while they are both standouts, one towers above the crowd at 7'1", while the other sometimes just seems to get lost in its midst at 5'11". There is, of course, the obvious difference of color. One wears gray and schools by the banks of the Hudson in upstate New York. The other wears blue and spends his days where the Chesapeake Bay meets the Severn River. They both represent service academies with similar goals and ideals, yet their 2 institutions sit so squarely on opposite sides of the competitive fence that Army-Navy is almost rivalry by definition, like the Yankees and the Dodgers, or USC and Notre Dame. They are both basketball players of extraordinary distinction, each responsible for the bulk of their team's scoring. But their games have different phone numbers. For Kevin Houston of Army, it's long distance. He has taken 96 three-pointers this season, made half of them, and otherwise thrives on the outside shot. He also leads the country in free throw percentage. Aside from a 42-foot desperation shot at the buzzer to beat James Madison, David Robinson of Navy has not attempted a single three-pointer this season. He prefers the local call. Much louder, same effect. One has gotten most of the attention, and his name is prominently mentioned in discussions of Player of the Year. However, many would be surprised to learn that it is the other who leads the country in scoring.
I've talked to Kevin a couple times off the court, and he's a nice guy, a real nice guy. I like him off the court. And on the court, I have a lot of respect for him. He makes tough shots. A lot of people take those tough shots with people on him, but he makes them, and that's what distinguishes him from other people.
Well, I don't have the greatest jumping ability or running ability. I'm not the fastest or the quickest guy out there by any means. So I just try to think a couple of plays ahead and see things that are developing at the beginning of the game and then put them to use later on.
Soon, both will be professionals. Houston a professional soldier, but Robinson is probably headed for professional basketball. Because he sprouted 6 inches after entering the academy and now stands 7'1", he is no longer fit for active duty. 2 years of restricted duty followed by 4 years in the reserves seem to open the NBA doors, and that's okay with Houston.
He up and add a few inches to his body, and he's really developed into one of the better players in the nation. And with that, this opportunity came about, but it's nothing that I've looked at with sour grapes or any kind of bitterness towards him or anyone involved in the whole process.
To me, it's an opportunity to do something that I enjoy and something that I can be the best at. So, you know, some people search their entire lives and never find that.
Both Houston and Robinson were at their best today. In their final meeting as college opponents, the midshipmen came from behind to defeat the cadets of Army 58-52. And Frank, this was the final regular season collegiate game for both of these fine players.
Very unbiblical finish, however. Kevin Houston 38 points, but the big man, David Robinson, the winner with the Navy. Be sure to join us tomorrow for a special 2-hour Sunday edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports. We'll be...
On May 27th, 1987, more than
where you'll find perhaps the nation's most productive little guy. We're talking about 5'11" Kevin Houston, who happens to lead the country right now in scoring at 31 points per game. West Point, New York, the United States Military Academy. Among the 4,400 training cadets, you'll find the unknown soldier.
First of all, of course, they've got to be a cadet, then a student in a tough academic arena. And then finally, it's so great to see a young fellow who does all that and then becomes #1 in the nation.
Leading the nation in scoring means this cadet gets many kudos.
It's definitely something a little bit new for me. I'm enjoying what's going on right now, and hopefully it will continue through the rest of the season.
For now, Houston is working hard at the rigorous academic standards at Army. But as he continues his magic on the court, this baby-faced senior looks beyond to yet another dream.
I think everyone in whatever sport they're playing has a dream of reaching a professional level. So I'm just looking forward to fulfilling my career, my 5 years in the Army first, before I look to anything like that.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't honor the Air Force Falcons of Coach Reggie Minton, the Falcons having their best season in 9 years.